Hello and welcome to the Simulation Soccer League. I'm Jiggly.
And I'm TVC.
Well, we got the third week, the third match day of the season. I think this is my first one of the season.
Yes, Matchday 3. The season is just a little bit longer this year around. I think a total of 14 games we played across both divisions. So 3 of 14 ahead of us, rolling along.
And we've got, you know what? I don't think there's very many close games, or at least ones that seem like very interesting from a standing standpoint, but it might be interesting from a tactical standpoint. As we start off this first one, Athênai against Tokyo.
Yes. So Athênai versus Tokyo, these are two teams who want to be at the top. Athênai were up there last year. Tokyo won in season 4. Cross does go out. Yeah, no, Athênai looking to continue to push up, and Tokyo as of late have had a little bit poorer luck and find themselves a little more in the mid-table race. Let's see if they can change that this year.
Well, 144 heads that one in strong. Real quick. It's only that was the third minute still.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure that was headed towards the goal, which is why I kept talking. But yeah, no, 44 puts that away with his head.
Gets past Toastman.
Normally someone who does that with his feet, but clearly able to threaten with all, both his feet and his head.
With all elements of the body.
Legally, can you put the ball into the net with any other part of your body? Like, could you chest the ball in?
If you were an old Chicago Fire fan, you would know the tale of Chesty McGee.
I do not. I only know of multiple tales of hands involved.
And then also the stories. Clint Dempsey scoring a goal with his midsection, possibly lower.
I don't think I'm familiar with the goal, unfortunately.
It was one of his most legendary goals in the World Cup. I think it was like against Ghana. Anyway, here's Nesse, sends it into Rise, and Rise can't get it in.
Good defense here from Athênai. They are playing in a 4-3-3 with that DM, and their two wingers out wide. It's a formation I think they've settled into this year, and had some chances early, that early goal, but since then really have stagnated just a little bit. Tokyo have had chances late into the game there. We saw that one from Rise go off a defender. We're going to need to find a way to get the ball a little higher up in the air. Athênai are really good at defending on the ground, and Tokyo are good at playing in the air. So,
well, you see the game at halftime. It's you look at those stats, and it's basically neck and neck right there. I think the big thing right now is that, I think both of those chances were half chances almost. And it's just that Athênai was able to put away theirs, and Rise wasn't able to put that one away. So we'll see what happens going forward. We're already an hour in.
Yeah, we are blazing by this match. And there is an injury. So Sidney Ramirez coming off for Athênai now.
I'm a bit confused about the lack of substitutions down there.
They do not have any other players other than their starting 11, I think. They're one of...
Well, they have two bots. I'm a bit confused.
Yes, they do have two bots. That is correct. I think that the bots were added in there by the manager as depth coverage. But
I don't know. Usually there'd be like just randomly generated at that point that the game would provide. I don't know what's going on there.
Yes, but they only make it into the matchday squad if you select them. So I think we have not chosen to select the fake players in lieu of confusion.
Well, that's gonna come into play here as they're gonna attack. They're gonna be attacking that spot right there at that right wing area. See, cross in from the left from Rise. And Hayden's offside there.
That is going to be called off with no replay, unfortunate. I would love to see a second look at that. Maybe we'll go back another date, but it certainly looked close.
Well, there's your problem. We were only getting extended highlight. We were only getting key highlights, not extended. That's why it's been going by so fast.
Well, that went by quickly for Tokyo as well, as Yannick Anderson gets himself extended to make the save. Probably the last chance of the match there off the corner, and it does go out. So I think that might be it for Athênai.
Yeah, and that's it. Tokyo does not send in one last cross there, and that's going to do it.
That's a little confusing to me. I feel like they did have one opportunity there, and they just kind of sat on the ball.
You know, I think that there's a lot of things that went wrong in this game. You look at the XG right there, 1.41 for Tokyo.
Yeah, really a blinder from Yannick Anderson today. He played well in net, as he normally does. He's part of that backbone for Athênai, who can absorb a lot of pressure, and we saw that today. Chance again did come up Tokyo's way, but Athênai were able to fend off the most of it. I didn't get a chance to talk about Tokyo's 4-2-4 there with that one defensive midfielder. Always a bit of an interesting formation, that one.
I think I've talked about the anchor before, although that's more a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-2-4.
Yeah, and I've seen an asymmetric version of that played out. It plays like a 4-2-3-1, or a 4-2-4 asymmetric, right? Normally don't see those two center infielders playing, those two midfielders in general playing behind each other. But it works. The defensive midfielder kind of sits in that gap, and the central midfielder will more often than not be in an aggressive role and sort of plug up the attack in the midfield. But
here comes the next game. Yeah, Inter London against Catalunya here. Yeah, we're going to see a bit more of this game.
We are on extended highlights here, so we're going to get just a little more of this game. Hopefully not too much. As a chance goes begging there for Clements. Big save there from, I believe it was, it's always going to be Gunnarsson. I don't think Catalunya has ever had a different goalkeeper. Yeah.
Well, not much happening right now. Here comes something, Catalunya. This gets there. Yarvnet, nope. Kemoatu. And that cross is picked up by Yeboah.
See some interesting tactical details here. Both teams are opting to play in a 4-4-2 narrow diamond.
Okamoto can't get that shot in.
That is a massive block by DeFleur there.
As they're going to try to clog up the center of the top of the box there.
I think we're going to just see a lot of midfield action from both teams today.
I mean, they're retreating.
Neither team opting to play with wingers today. Those wingbacks, though, for Inter London should be out wide, but I think Catalunya are playing with some more inverted fullbacks. So a lot of central play coming out from them.
Well, here comes Catalunya again. Yarvinen sends it over to Rising, and that's saved.
Mojo Rising playing on that right side of the two-striker formation we have here.
And, you know, Inter London had a lot of chances, as we weren't watching, apparently, but Catalunya, they had a whole lot of time there up in London's end and just could not get anything in. And there's London with a big chance and saved by Gunnarsson.
Gunnarsson with another brilliant save there to deny London a go-ahead goal. London's chances, while statistically have come, they haven't been too great. Those two chances are the one chance early on, and then that one off the corner, really the best of the bunch.
Kamoyatu gives up the ball. Scudmuffin takes it forward. They're going to take it a bit slower now. Long pass does not work out. It's back to Catalunya. And now it's from Catalunya up to Järvinen. Sends it forward. Anavier is still there. Vince. And that's saved, and that's going out for a corner.
Real broken play there. Odd sort of bounce of the ball and giveaway from the defenders. But Catalunya really not able to punish with a high-quality shot. Vince took a good shot from a rather distant angle.
Rising moves up into the right corner there. Kamoyatu, Busquets. Well, they're leaning back into slowing the game down. Maple over to Vince up to Järvinen, and they've finally broken through.
That is a through ball that they were looking for. That is classic Catalunya as of this year. They really love to draw the defenders out, playing that ball back, and then finding the quick 1-2 pass that will free the attacker onto the one-on-one there. Yeboah able to track the ball, but not able to get to that top corner where that ball was sweetly put. Just on the back heel of that last defender there was, I believe that's our goal.
That was Donnarumma. That was the back. That was the last defender.
Was it Okamoto that scored? I'm having a hard time seeing the...
No, that was Järvinen.
Järvinen, the right back. That's an incredible goal.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, you know, you push that ball and you just sit there at the top of the box, maybe move it around a bit. Like, the entire game just becomes soup. Scudmuffin's shot is saved. That was a great chance, and they're still on the attack the floor. The header gets caught by Gunnarsson, the header from McGurk. I mean, we might see this again here, but, you know, watching Catalunya just sort of sit up there, it's not pretty to look at. I'll say that. It's not pretty. You turn the game into soup, and, you know, you use that chaos. That's the thing. You use that sort of chaos of just nobody knows where the ball's going to pop out. You lose track of who you're even covering, because suddenly you're next to like 3 other guys and 2 of your teammates, so you don't know which of you is covering who.
Absolutely. I think the term soup is oddly apt.
It's
Catalunya, and to the average viewer, they may not understand, but it is. What I feel you're referring to is their fluidity, right? A lot of Catalunya's players move in and out of their positions quite frequently. No one's really in the spot you expect them to be in.
But it's not
hard.
like... But I say soup, like maybe even stew, because it's not like it's, you know, fluid in the sense that you'd normally think of just like water or something like that. It is, it's got some heft to it, and it's hard to move and it's hard to go through. And that's why you're able to use that chaos so well. When you send somebody through, nobody's really paying attention to them at that point. You don't think that anybody can break out from that area.
Yeah, you've got 4 defenders, so when you overload with 6 to 7 individuals, someone's going to find their way through unmarked. That's the philosophy there. We did have a couple of subs come in for Catalunya.
I think I see a sub for London.
I will check, but I'm pretty sure it was Anavier out from McFlop face and Okamoto.
Well, Järvinen sends it forward to Rising, and that's it.
If we don't see Shion Okamoto out there, that's because I believe he got taken out for Kevin De Bruyne.
That ball is cleared now. And we're going to see Catalunya continue their attack. And I think that might be the reason why they're trying to turn the top of the box into soup, because that wide play does not work out. Ooh, Jerry, just wide.
I think he was offside there too. It seemed a little bit early, but both teams this year have played really good counter-attacking football out of this narrow 4-4-2 diamond.
Yeah, we're just not seeing too much. I gotta say, it's really hard to see a lot of intent from this team. We're seeing a bit more now in the second half out of London, as that shot is saved. As Catalunya works their way around.
Goal update though. Yarvin's goal earlier this game was the first of their season. The Finnish fullback. I'm pretty sure I saw him score a couple last year, so definitely first of their career.
Well, the attempts to cook up another stew did not work out for Catalunya, and now here comes London on the counterattack. Scudmuffin has a free space in front, and they take it. That's a goal for London, and we are tied up in the 68th minute.
Oh my God! Where did that come from?
He just had enough space in front of him.
I've never seen a better
Gets him
example
behind
of
Busquets.
places shots. Woo. You see that and you can't do anything as a goalkeeper because you're never going to jump past their post, right? And that just barely curled down the underside of the bar. Perfectly placed shot.
Well, I mean, the thing I was pointing out is you see the room that he got. Busquets let him through. Came up a bit too far.
Well, maybe Catalunya shouldn't have cheaped out and bought the real, the full value Busquets. All this budget.
I don't know how much that
really
would help
back
either.
To bite them.
Clemens sends through Muffin again, who gets behind Busquets again. I mean, you're saying that they should have gotten the real Busquets, but I'm just gonna say, Budget Busquets is much more of that facilitator role. He's a guy that you use to sort of cycle your way through.
Unironically, I think that at this point in the careers, Budget Busquets is probably better than the actual Busquets.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. McFlopface gets through and just powers it home. Yeboah goes over the ball.
Okay, I see what kind of game this is. It's the sort of strike ball into back of net every time you touch the game, right? We see this every now and then. Just long shot city, and
that's not a long shot. Yeboah comes out. McFlopface is inside the box, actually past the spot.
Nope, you're right.
Committed.
I thought that was from further out than it was. No, he beat him clean there.
Yeboah just overcommitting there. Here comes the stew. And Kemoeatu tries to shoot out of it.
Now that's not that good of a
idea. That's not that good of an idea. Jerry sends it in. Ooh! And that header goes just wide. I think that came from Miller.
Gunnarsson got a finger to it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and that's a corner now. Cleared away. Flopface almost has a good line to Maple, but someone gets in front of him. Well, the Bernia tries to break Vince free, but can't quite get that under control. Vin's up to Kemoeatu. Järvinen somehow gets through the turtle to get that shot off. It does not make it in. They're still in the attacking third, and now it's a throw-in for them. Looking to get a one to finish this off here.
Roughly about 5 minutes and change to play. 84 minutes now. 86. That is the clockiest of the season for the American midfielder. Real pretty one. You see it yourself.
Busquets pushes it past Järvinen. And Yeboah is going to collect that.
Järvinen has been a consistent threat through the entire match. Inter London really not able to punish his absence out wide.
Crossing the box gets cleared away pretty easily, but here's a chance for DeFleur. Where he pushes it in, and that's not getting close to anyone but the goalkeeper. We're into injury time now. Minute and a half left. Scudmuffin moves out to the left wing. Tries to send it across, but Busquets is in front of him. Rising tries to get a pass in. That's not going to work out very well. It's a minute left. Time runs out from... Oh, and Maple just steals that one. And it's over.
Catalunya put in the dagger. That should be the insurance goal, and a real ugly day for Tony Yeboah. One to forget about for sure. Rarely does he make many mistakes. He's made 2 big ones today. That's gonna look similar to the first
goal. 2 big ones in that play. He makes 2 big ones in that exact play. He gives up the ball, and then he moves away from the ball.
Just there's a little too much to try to make up for that, and gets punished there.
And that's going to be it. Catalunya win this one 3-1. It was pretty close for a while.
Yeah, I think that it was a great game. The scoreline probably a little unfair to Inter London, but in all honesty, a deserved win for Catalunya. Statistically, they did about the same on both sides, but the quality really shining through here for Catalunya.
You know, I think some of the bigger issues with Yeboah may come from being a bit too eccentric.
I think he is the least eccentric of our goalkeepers.
Well, then there seems to be an issue here.
No, because the least one can be is still a 5, and 5 is still enough. We can call this one an outlier, you know?
Well, you know, when you're someone who sim tests for games, when game planning and such, you sometimes just end up with the outlier for no reason, or you might all of your tests are outliers to what actually will happen. So, you know,
there's a tried and true saying that I go back to very often when it comes to sim leagues, and that is, sim is going to sim.
You know, you go with my own personal motto, which is something stupid always happens. I mean, look, one of the Cairo players wants to go back into the locker room. Just see the one guy walk out. I think that was number 6. That was Staines. Staines wants to go back home.
I was half hoping it was number 7. I hadn't realized Cairo's guy.
Newman with a wonderful curveball of a header. You know what's that one pitch like Ephus or whatever, like the one that's just like stupid curve. 12-6 curve here from Newman there as it just dives, just loses everything on it.
It's really funny that you say that, because Jeff Newman is the user is Lumen, a Luminosity fan, who is an updater, I think, in the PB. Quite active, apologies, over there. So, indeed, a 12-6 curveball.
Just fell off the table. Now you know what? I forgot his name. I forgot how I'm supposed to.
Helmship.
Okay, because I keep saying Flemish, and I don't think that's right. I think that there's something on the Y.
Well, that something might be a little salsa to go with that chip that we just got. Tie game.
You know, we're not seeing very good play from goalkeepers today, except for the first game.
It is a Fire Fest 2.0 out here.
Snooks almost sneaks that in.
What a curl that had. I wish that went in. Great save there from Sao Paulo's keeper. Getting me second. That's Adam Rage for Montreal goalkeeper.
Newman plays it forward for Ansa. Ansa sends it in, and that's blocked. Biscuit's shot is saved. And now Cairo's taking it up the pitch. They're going to stop that counterattack in its tracks. Cairo's still with possession, but it's not going to matter to us.
Now, Sao Paulo potentially on the counter here. A broken set piece play, one of the most dangerous sort of passages.
Fred sends it forward, and that's not going to get to anybody. But Biscuit is still there, and he's still onside. Wow!
What a mess. You're right. You don't want to be a goalkeeper today.
That wasn't even goalkeeper. That was defense. That bounced off. I think that was Hood's head.
Yeah, no,
either
but
Hood or Snooks. No, that was Malachi Black not tracking back. Ibrahimovic gets a face onto it. I guess, yeah, that is goalkeeper. That is on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, bad clearance by Heretic there. That went right off the head of Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic known to have a pretty large forehead, so, you know, sometimes you just hit the target on the mark.
There's Sao Paulo again. And you know what? I think that you might pull the goalie. Every single team in this league should pull their goalie right now. I don't think they're going to matter today.
So, Sao Paulo are playing with 3 strikers, which will explain the frequency of opportunities we're seeing in the box. Cairo's just not really able to deal with it.
I think there's the other issue here is who's marking him? Who's supposed to be marking Fred there? I see 4 guys next to the goalkeeper in yellow, but no one near Fred. You know, that definitely is a defensive breakdown, and there's another giveaway and another giveaway from Cairo.
So, oddly enough, Cairo have actually been really good on the ball. 58-ish possession through the game.
The numbers are not telling the story.
Yeah, no.
And ball was already going out, but the Heretic just needs to feel something.
Listen, sometimes as a goalkeeper, you need to make 1 or 2 saves to really get yourself going. His team can take care with that piece here.
Francis sends it in. That ball isn't going anywhere. Sao Paulo with a bad giveaway.
Can Cairo punish?
The break is a bit slow. Noodle over to Flemish. That's a save from Rage. And as I said earlier, the numbers do not tell the story in this game. Yes, Cairo has done pretty well, but those 2 chances, I think okay, so obviously, as we said, those last 2 goals for Sao Paulo were very much on, poor decision-making on the goalkeeper's part. Even with Cairo's goal, poor decision-making. What about that first goal then? Would you put that on goalkeeper?
I feel like it's been all Sao Paulo today. I don't think that first goal was all goalkeeper, but certainly it contributes, right? Anytime you can make a save, you can contribute. And if you don't make that save, well, you contribute in a negative way, right? But unfortunately, I don't think there is very much the goalkeeper could have done there. Could they have done better? Sure. But also, they're down 3. Not all of them are his fault.
Although, moving out of the way at the goal.
At least one of them, yes.
And then, hitting the ball right at an opposing player.
I would like to think that was meant for the defender, and the defender just missed. We'll see if he misses here. Snooks gets it on target. The defender did not miss, but Adam Rage will make that save.
There's Sao Paulo again. Up to Newman. It's going to move over to Besenvitz. Gives up the ball. And Cairo's going to take their time a bit. Pass to no one up there. And, that's the problem with sometimes with trying to play a bit of a direct counterattack. Oh, Newman. That's going over the bar. That's the problem sometimes with a direct counterattack, which is you're just going to have to punt that ball up there and hope that somebody gets to it.
Yeah, and it's a little confusing. I understand why Sao Paulo could choose to do this. That's why they play with 3 strikers up top. That clip right there. Another chance here.
I was talking more for Cairo with that big pass straight from the defense up to the attack and not really getting anywhere with it. I mean, you're not really being exact like a cross like that would.
What a save by the Heretic.
You're not getting that exactness, but you are just trying to make something happen at that point.
Yeah, no, I think that we are seeing a lot of that come out from Cairo, and I think it's a little unintentional. They're playing in a 4-3-3 DM wide, which means they have that defensive midfielder and their 2 wingers. Here comes Torres now.
And Lexington gets back in time to clear that away.
You see, the problem here is that there are 3 defenders for Sao Paulo and only 1 Franco Torres. Which means at all points, he's double covered.
Well, that's I always talk about the time the conversation I had with Peter Novak about the reason why I love the 3-5-2 so much is it's about a numbers game. Here's Jeeves and that save, but there's still a chance now. Normus is gliding. Impressive, honestly.
He's sponsored by an air shoe company.
And Inclon with a real bad tackle there.
Got a yellow or a red?
It's from behind.
It's a lecture. That's a yellow. Okay, just booking. Real dramatic from the ref there.
And we're going to take it quickly. That did not work out very well. But I was going to say that, you have that sort of numbers advantage when you play with, teams are going to be playing against Biscuit gets it around the Heretic.
Yeah, we're going to see it again here. You keep hitting on that point, that number advantage. Look how many attackers there are. Look how many defenders there are. Right? Absolutely skins Willie Normus. And unfortunate for Cairo, it's that sort of game for them today.
Yeah, you think of a classic 4-2-3-1, and they're going to keep back 2 center backs. Why would you only say... Oh, Lemish gets on the end of that. I'm trying to tell my story, guys.
So some life here from Cairo now. A second goal for Arnold Hamish. Words. A second goal for Hamish.
That's what I'm saying. I know that we have a pronunciation guide somewhere, but we have to look for it. Just for that name.
But a second goal for him brings life back to Cairo, who only need 2 to equalize. Time quickly ticking away here. You talked about it a couple times, and I touched on it a little bit. That wide play here is really not hurting Sao Paulo like it can or should. And I think that's kind of why we see a little difficulty progressing the ball from Cairo, and why they opt to go over the top so often, is that their midfield really, how do you deal with 3 forwards and to deal with that, you kind of drop a midfielder, right?
NG's shot is pushed over the bar by Rage. And there's another goal. This time it's Franco Torres. We might have a game here.
We absolutely have a game here. We may have a late goal, a late equalizer here. Cairo have absolutely swung the momentum. We will see if they can continue, though. They need one more here. Time ticking away. One last chance. Referee, that was cruel.
That's gonna be it now.
Yeah, just a little too late for Cairo there. 2 consolation goals for them late on. Almost brought it back close. Brought it back close. Almost brought it back even. But just unable to get that last one there. I hate to say it, but that defensive error from Adam Rage, I believe that was Rage out, really cost them.
I believe that the Heretic.
Apologies. Rage is playing for Sao Paulo.
Rage did other things, but as I said earlier, I think that every single team needs to be worried about their goalkeeper right now.
Yeah, it's not a safe day for the keepers. That's for sure.
Well, going into a game where it's Kaapstad against Hollywood FC, and Kaapstad lost their starting goalkeeper over the offseason. Now they have a new one in, and
I'm willing to wager that this may be a bad day for Kaapstad's keeper, and a rather quiet day for Scott Sterling. But we've seen the underdog play quite the tone through this match day. So
well, it looks like a couple of Kaapstad players already wanted to leave again. I'm starting to sense a pattern here now.
Listen, when you're in Hollywood, the last place you want to be is on the football pitch.
Zimmer with a shot from outside the box. That's not going to get very far. And we saw these two teams play in the in the cup last season, when Kaapstad was in the second division, and the first leg was actually fairly close. It ended up in I think it was 1-1.
Yeah, they Kaapstad took it draw home with a away goal lead. In fact, I think.
Unfortunately, they were not able to carry that, as I think they lost like 4-0 or something like that.
5-0.
Well, Hollywood's header, I think that was Taka. That goes over the bar. I think that may have been Hollywood's first shot of the game so far, which is a bit surprising. We're going to see a lot of these long balls right now, and, well, Bobby gets that done and finishes it.
We're seeing a new Ricky Bobby this year. He's really favored playing in that shadow striker role on that right hand of the attacking midfield. And Taka playing as a left striker. What that means is he's scoring a lot more with his feet.
I got very confused when you said that. We're seeing a new Ricky Bobby, and then I look at the jerseys and it looks like most of his shirt is off. So I got a bit confused. I guess that's what the jerseys look like now.
I hope one day...
Looks like the shoulders are open.
I do hope one day that we will get goal celebrations in the engine.
Here comes a hopeful counterattack that is immediately snuffed out. Here's possible. And that's another goal, Liang Kwai.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note with Kaapstad, which is they came up from the second division. Normally, you'd expect players from the second division to flock towards a team going up, and we actually saw the opposite, as we saw the goalkeeper, as we see here, Dexter Hall, switched from being the center back to goalkeeper. to fill that role, and also the other attacking player, Lachlan O'Rourke, also decided to leave the team. So it's a bit interesting that,
and not only leave the team, but after fighting the entire year for promotion, they actually wound up back in Division 2, if I recall correctly. Lua going to, I want to say, now Reykjavik.
Yeah, both of them went to Reykjavik, actually, in the same trade. Lane Kwai sends it up to Taka. Ricky Bobby, that's another one.
Third short side goal today. Hollywood loved their spot, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like the goalkeeper is too interested in stopping that. That's Dexter Hall, and he's watched that go short side 3 times in a row.
I've talked when I used to cover women's soccer and covering the Red Stars with Sam Kerr, I'd call it a boring 3-0 victory. Boring 3-0 victory, as we see an injury here for Hollywood. But it's hard to really. It's hard to look at this team and say it's the same team that got promoted.
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
with
it lost its 2 probably largest playmakers. The Lua.
Not just that, also the retired players like Athlete and it wasn't Fidel. My brain just stopped. It was a different anime girl that my mind is just Pekara.
Yes, they had a couple of rental players. Oh wow, Ricky Bobby with a hat trick in the first half.
I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. What's the difference between 5-0 and 50-0?
And I do love to harp.
So, am I right, TVC?
I do love to harp. So short side, 4th time. And to an extent, you mentioned it earlier. Didn't seem like some of the players were interested in playing and wanted to not be on the pitch. Well, if you forfeit, it's technically a 3-0 loss. So maybe they were doing a little bit of foresight.
And it's just weird to see, like all of these players who fought for promotion suddenly gone, and now what's left. And seeing actually there's some teams in Division 2 that I think are much stronger than a few teams in Division 1 right now. Yeah, and that may be a concern for the balance of the league.
I think that the teams which will get relegated will probably still go back to Division 2 and struggle a little bit. We do see that from time to time. Well, not from time to time. We've seen that a little bit with the 2 teams that went down last couple years, right? We saw, I believe it was AS Peri who went down, and they were one of the favorites to be promoted last year. Nearly got it. I think they lost out in the last match day, but overall their season was not, I don't think, what they wanted either.
Well, I guess it's more of a question of, what's the incentive to be promoted? If you get relegated, you have a better chance of winning a championship than you are if you're promoted, if you think about it. And, and when we talk about, leagues that people usually watch, like the Premier League, La Liga or something like that, you get promoted and you get a ton of money to help you go out and try to find a way to stay promoted. So it's just a bit off to, have promotion and relegation in a league where there's no real incentive to be promoted.
I would hope the incentive is pride, but alas,
there's people who are not using pride.
Yeah, no.
There's people choosing to leave.
But it's a long-term solution, It's a long-term journey.
We'll see how it goes. As we see more pressure. It's not even worth it to talk about a game that's so overloaded.
So you bring up a very interesting point, and I'll toot my own horn here. I am one of few players to have won both championships at this point, Division 1 and Division 2. So maybe that is incentive there, a journey of a full career. I am still looking for the cup. That would complete the trophy cabinet for sure for me. But the groups this year have been difficult. Hollywood being in one of them with Athênai, I believe, in Inter London's group. So
I mean, I guess it's just it's a bit of concern that there's parity among both divisions, I guess, in a way that what's the point of promotion relegation at that point? Why not just make it one whole league?
Because you'd have to sim 6.
There'd be more games.
Yeah, that's why. That's the big reason there. Is that this is easier for workload. And that's the reality. I don't think that's the reality that's we should shy away from. A lot of people put a lot of time into making everything work, our simmer included. So the least we can do is respect that the fact that they have lives outside of this. But you bring an interesting point. I do wonder if there will be teams who are more interested in competing for a Division 2 title than they are a Division 1. Especially those teams who start a little later or have younger windows, who can't exactly compete with a team like Hollywood. You also mentioned a gap, which I think is important to note that
I mean, the gap isn't between the division. The gap isn't between the two divisions. It's within the first division, I believe.
I think that the gap here is some odd, on average, 400, 500, 600 TP per player. So it's this match is not kind of the way you would expect it to on paper. We'll see if Kaapstad can find one here. A consolation goal would be helpful to keep the goal differential a little bit close, though I think Kaapstad have had a couple games go awry so far. Early on, though, right, a couple points could bring that competition. We saw that race for relegation. Race, I say, it's really a competition to not be the winner of.
Well, relegation battle.
Yeah, relegation battle. I think we saw that last year go down to the very end of the season, and Cairo just, no, it wasn't last year that Cairo just barely avoided it. But I think last year we actually did have two relegation favorites. That being Sydney City at that time, now Reykjavik, whom handily saw their relegation, and on through is Ricky Bobby looking for a fourth. But the other team that was relegated was not decided until the last match day. I think Tokyo were in that fight too.
And over there was attempting to put some pressure on the ball was Hokovodo. I think the only actual signing that Kaapstad made over the offseason. And once again, as I said, a lot of players leaving, and then not really being seen as much of a destination for players.
Yeah, no, we've had a lot of growth in the last couple of years, which means that those newer expansion teams are always going to be at the top of the list for a lot of people. They've gotten a lot of attention as of late. Kaapstad have been one of these expansion teams in years prior, but it's been a few years since they've come into the league now, and might be a little bit of time for a refresh for them. If they do wind up relegated, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the roster. They are still relatively young.
It's interesting to talk about or anything because I mean it's not like a brand is that important with how a team does. And Gordon I think that's the first shot we've seen from Kaapstad since I think the second minute.
I was unaware that they've had more than one, so you're watching closer than I apparently. Gordon's had a few of these shots, though. He's generated well on that left-hand side for Kaapstad. Unfortunately,
he didn't play much last season either.
Yeah, no.
And there's a foul in the box as Doug takes down Taka.
That was a bit of a senseless push for Doug. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a fifth here for Hollywood.
Well, I mean, you see the frustration out of Kaapstad. I mean, I think they knew from the first game that they were about to be the whipping post of the entire league. even before the first game, with everything that, as I've talked about throughout this entire game, everything that happened in the offseason, they know exactly what's coming to them, and I think that may be affecting their performances as well, as you're seeing that frustration build over time.
Yeah, Doug definitely shoved Taka pretty hard there. Hulkaville drills a shot into Costanza there. Unfortunate. That was a good-looking opportunity from Kaapstad off the turnover. I will also give credit to Hull on that penalty that last we saw. I thought
he did choose correctly.
Yeah, he actually got a finger to it. That's why it wound up in the top corner of the net. Almost made the save.
And here comes a one-on-one for Taka.
Yeah, she's going to drive out wide. Buy a little time for Bobby, who's marauding in.
What's the difference between 6-0 and 32-0?
Records, I think. But I think the largest loss we've seen is 7. We'll see if we can get to 8, or Hollywood can get to 8. Bianchi with his second goal of the match, I believe. Two of the goals have been unassisted. Well, one of them being a penalty, of course.
As Kaapstad tries to find any way into the box. That's going to be taken out now.
Gianni Krustos, though.
I thought he retired.
Yeah, same. It's nice to see him still around. The player.
Well, here comes another chance. As here's Taka.
Big save by Dexter Hall. Denies Taka his hat trick. It's been interesting watching Bobby drift out to that right-hand side on the attacking midfield role. He plays very similar to a right winger sometimes, and it confuses me because he's not supposed to.
I have nothing to say about this game because there's just nothing happening. Yeah, 6 goals have been scored and nothing happened.
Well, lots has happened, lots of note and highlight worthy, but most of it in Hollywood's favor, unfortunately. Well, unfortunate for Kaapstad. I'm sure Hollywood fans are eating this up. They are playing at home, and you can see in the tunnel there, the fans are going wild. It is an absolute rout here for Hollywood. The only man who did not play well, Nico Rashford. And Kaapstad did have some chances in that second half. We did see that. They did have a better second half than they did first, but I mean,
don't be generous there. That's
no,
0.76 XG overall. That XG map means nothing, honestly. You look at the overall XG and you see that's nothing. They gave up 4 total XG.
Yeah, and credit to Hollywood.
32 shots, 17 shots on goal.
They absolutely did not let up this match.
Kaapstad actually had good possession somehow.
The midfield block really helps. They do have this tendency to overload the midfield, which does catch teams with lesser midfield or weaker midfields offside. Not offside. Out a little bit. Hollywood's not particularly one of those teams, and we saw it's only 51-49. But they did have a good amount of possession that game.
And that's going to do it for us. That's the standings for Division 1 after the 3rd round of games.
Yeah, Hollywood stay topside there with a dominant performance as we just saw. Catalunya climbing up to 2nd now. Sao Paulo right behind them, tied on 6 points each. Athênai with their win able to get 5 points and sit on 5th. Inter London, the biggest positional losers on the day, dropping from, I believe, 2nd to 5th place. And I missed the rest of that. So
Yep, that's going to be it for us then. I'm Jiggly.
And I'm TVQ.
Thank you for listening.